My name's Jason Tooker. I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we went kind of live with a launch just a couple of weeks ago in Detroit at a CAM event. So I've joined CAM, and Benetics is now part of CAM as well. And I know some of you are part of CAM as well, and talking with ABC and some others now too. So yeah, I appreciate you joining me today, and it is being recorded. So if you want it afterwards, you definitely can have it and share it with anybody else in the office. Just let me know. I do have a co-star here with me today, and I'm using Teams. So this is my first time in a long time being on Teams. So Tobias, I think everyone can see you now as well.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone from Zurich, Switzerland. I've been to the States with Jason to launch the Benetics Voice Assistant in Detroit. Like I think Jason was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure even. Yeah, I got this Detroit Tigers hat from there, and now I'm super excited. Yeah, to welcome actually more than 15 different companies from the greater Detroit area. So hi from Zurich, and thank you very much from my side for participating.
Awesome. Thanks, Tobias. And yeah, it was a great trip he had here. And I didn't even tell him to buy a Tigers hat. He just had it on when he got here. And I said, they're the hottest team in sports and in baseball right now. So good purchase. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll do just a couple slides first, and then we'll get into the actual app and go through kind of a demo for you. All right. Hopefully everyone can see that. So the big thing we're talking about here today is the voice assistant. And this is something that has really taken off in Switzerland and in Europe in general. Just in June, almost 50 new customers using it, all shapes and sizes as far as different trades. But really, we're up near 200 now, and that's just over like the last 6 months. So this has been the thing that really people say, hey, I can use that. It's practical use of ChatGPT in the background, and it really does save a lot of time and get people organized in a fashion that makes sense. So let's just talk about what you currently might be doing. Emails, right? I hear it here a lot. Over there, it's a little bit different, but here it's emails with attachments, photos on people's phones, always trying to go through your own personal phone and get your attachments or photos out for projects that you're on. Documentation can be delayed or is missing. A lot of times you're just doing the work, and ultimately you got to do it at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or on the weekends to go through reports that are really quite needed back in the office, and vice versa. A lot of rework. I've heard this over and over. A couple of companies say, hey, if we would been using Benetics sooner, we might not have to go back and do something that's maybe not even billable for a customer or a client, and that can add a lot of cost as well as travel and time, put you behind some other customers as well. And then communication in general, right? It just feels like it should be better. Like we know it should be better, but really, how do you make it better, and what's possible? So simplicity is the key with Benetics, this app. Keeping it simple that everyone can use it is really one of the main focus points, as this amazing development team over in Switzerland has been able to do. So what can you do with it? It's simple, yet you can have all of your reports in there. So you're able to do PDFs for all the floor plans that pulls in as well. And then you're attaching photos. And so everyone back in the office is really locked in with what's going on out in the field in real time. I know here, we've got a lot of foremen and superintendents that are making the rounds and doing pictures and that type of thing. There really shouldn't be any reason that couldn't go a step further, even past them. But that's open for conversations, and we will have a Q&A at the end of this as well. So any of your thoughts would be appreciated. Then your crew is simply speaking into the phone, right? And it's just using natural speak. And you can ramble on, like I often do, but it picks out really what's key to the project or the task that you're creating, or the report, based on the fields that are in there as well. And that's what's amazed me the most, really, I think, is how far we've come with just the old speak to text versus what this really does with AI generated, reporting and communication. And then it is translatable into over 30 languages as well. So not as big a deal here in the States, but definitely might be something that's of value depending on where you're at and who's working there. So I'm just going to switch over here to a live demo. And what you see on the left-hand side, this is my phone. I'm literally on it, and hopefully I don't bump it because it's a little sensitive and then it might cut out. But um, on the right-hand side is what you'd see back in the office. So you've got anybody out in the field on the left-hand side working on the phone, and this again is really where the magic is at. Back in the office, pretty straightforward. It's almost the exact same feature set from one to the other. But really it's the tool is utilized and beneficial because of what you do here. And let's just get started, right? So you've got tasks, plans, reports, documents. Those are kind of the way that we, have organized this. And there are different things, tasks, you might call it a punch list, or depending on your trade or what your business is. We do have some general contractors using it, as well now, but it really has been electrical, HVAC. It's been more in the trade side of things. But the tasks themselves, you can call whatever you want and organize it in a manner that makes sense to you. But it's really simple here. If I go to plans on the phone, and we will see that you have the same plans over here on the website of things. I just click on it, and this is a fairly complex plan on here, but it could be huge. I mean, we've got some that are already putting, 50 pages, 100 pages out here and have 200, 300 tasks on each page. For the demo, we keep it pretty simple here. And let's just say, okay, we're out in the field and we know we need to do a new fan. So I'm going to say create task, and I'm going to replace this fan. And that we are doing a renovation in this example here, a West Arbor renovation. So you'll notice up in the top right corner, there's that little microphone. This is where the magic starts. So I'm going to hit that, and then I'm just going to talk to it. So we need to replace a broken fan. I'm actually going to assign this to Tobias, and I'd like it done in the next couple of days. We're going to put in a 52-inch Windmaster, like a red oak. Basically, we need to get rid of the old one. We need to test the electrical and check the voltage, and then install the new fan. And when he's done, go ahead and take a completed photo of it as well. So what I did there was I just kind of naturally spoke through what needs to be done. I was trying to give you some kind of to-do items, and now is when it's doing its magic in the background. And let's just take a look here. Yep, replace the broken fan, 52-inch. And it's even got to take a completed photo. And maybe I want to take a photo of it as is right now, like a pre-photo. I could add a photo to this task. I'll just say it's that one right back up there. You can even mark this up, circle it, whatever. And now you've got that photo on there as well. So you've got something that's now on Tobias's phone, and he's able to understand what his kind of marching orders are to be able to go through it. And if I just create it or finish it, it's going to show up already on the plan side of things over here in the office as well. So same type of look and feel with the location. So that's one of the wow factors, right? And it does create a feed, so it knows exactly what was done. And right there, Tobias said he's got it and he will do. I actually have my notifications off on my phone side, so you can turn them on or off. But this is something that is giving that real-time feedback to the office or to other people in the field. Okay, there he is. Nice. And this can be exported as well. This is something that a lot of people would ask for. So you can share and export this now to a PDF, or you can send it via email, especially if you've got third-party interest, meaning this needs to go back to an owner or it's not within your company. The app as a whole is really, originally designed for your company to work on it. But we recognized, hey, you need to send these things to other people, to general contractors. So you can do that as well and give them basically a static copy of it. So if you have any questions on that, we'll do questions at the end. But then I want to move on. Well, one other thing I should show here on the plan side of things, like I said, you might get 200 or 300 of these, and you can sort and mark them off as different colors. So if I say mark it as complete, now I'm in the field you can look back in the office and say, well, no, he hasn't done everything on the checklist. So you can, talk back and forth and say that's not completed yet. But it does a nice job of at least keeping it organized. And then you can look at, only the ones that are completed or the ones that are still to be worked on. Same technology on the report side of things. So if we just go back and build off of kind of the same idea and talking to it and just using the AI, I'm going to do a extra work order. So again, I'm on my phone, I'm out in the field, and this is a really kind of straightforward one here. Let's just hit the button and get going. So we found that there is some water damage here for our customer, Annie Arbor, nice lady. She's actually got about 28 feet of water damage in the drywall. So we've got to replace all of the drywall. We had to yesterday, actually. We had to replace everything. And I ended up working about 6 hours on it. And I think Toby, you were in here working on it as well, I know.
Yeah, I did 2 days ago actually already. Like I think it was an hour. No, I think it was even 2 hours.
Okay. Altogether, ultimately, we put in 6 4-foot by 8-foot drywall panels. We used the gold bond, that's what we used for the panels. We did add one other 4-foot by 8 or 12-foot panel as well, and then 2 boxes of drywall screws. We had 3 gallons of drywall mud
That was
and
four
three
gallons. It was actually 4 gallons.
4 gallons of the mud. Okay, and 3 rolls of tape.
Yep.
Okay. So we purposely kind of made some mistakes and talked over each other a little bit just to see, again, how does this work? How does it work in louder environments? How does it work if you change the hours that you said that you worked, right? So you can just kind of stumble through it and it goes ahead. Like Toby said 1 hour, and then he corrected himself and said 2, and it's populating all of this. This can be used on, walkthroughs. This can be used on really anything where you're normally writing stuff down or you have to fill something out and type it up. It's just a lot quicker and easier. So looks pretty good. Annie Arbor, 28 feet, drywall damage. It's got the 6 hours I worked, the 2 hours Toby worked. Pretty slick. And then again, I could add a photo. And you can add signatures. Signatures is something that we got requests for because you have like toolbox talks or different things that people have to sign off on, or even customer facing. I mean, you could be using this report on the customer side and with a work order, maybe getting Annie to sign off on this. In this example, I'm just putting my own signature on here. Real quick one. And then I'll go ahead and save that. So now we've done this out in the field. Everything you've seen is out in the field on the left-hand side. If you come back into the office and go to reports, now you see there's an extra work order created. Here, I can simply click on it, and you've got kind of a preview panel that pops up. Again, development did a great job. Looks pretty good there, but if I want to export it even further, let's put this one to PDF. It's got the individual pieces as well, and I can open it up and see what we got. And for a couple of you on the phone, you've asked me because we've talked and you're using it. I put in my logo, so that's my company logo now at the top. That's something that we should talk about if you still want to get that on your reports. Pretty nice, pretty slick. Gives you the time and date stamp. Again, if there's any questions on that, the types of reports are really endless. We can put whatever you've got out there, but I think pretty straightforward. So let me go back. Toby, is there anything else on your end that you want to talk about or show?
Thank you, Jason. Not specifically, actually. Like there are a lot of things we could also add in showing, for example, like how can you put documents into the app and how can you do like cross-linking between a report and a plan, for example. So what Jason didn't show here, because this is just a different kind of report, those reports can be built custom made, like however you would need them. And for example, we could also add like a part of the plan. So if you want that on the PDF in the end as well to show like where exactly did the work happen, then this is also a thing we can do already. So go ahead, Jason, please feel free. I don't want to annoy anyone with my German accent here.
Yeah, I will just show, you had mentioned, from the document side of things, right? This is probably the newest feature. This just came out a couple of weeks ago, and you can put anything up here. So this question had come up quite often, is like from a document share standpoint, if there's something that want to come from the office, they can upload any document here, and you can put photos. You can even yeah, you can even do videos if it's in part of like another document, which I tested the other day. So the documents piece, I think, is a big kind of game changer. It's more standard, but at the same time, if you can put anything else out there, that's something I think people really do want to see. But I'm just going to get back to the slides a second here, and then we'll open it up to any questions. So through the user base that we have, right, takeaways and talking numbers and everything else, you are looking at significant time savings, and it depends on your current processes and where you want to get and who's going to use it. I know that's been a big thing. It's like, oh, well, my guys are older, or ultimately, we don't want to do this on phones. Look, it's working. Like, it definitely is working. I'm 100%, sold on it. And there's no reason we can't do in the States what has been done now over in Europe for the past year plus with the usage. And so, I'm trying to get the word out there. I'm trying to make sure people see this. So again, I appreciate you coming here today. But I think it really does eliminate the misunderstandings that happened from the field back to the office. And it allows people to get all that information right at their fingertips, right in their pocket. And just, you can go live in a couple of minutes. Let's open it up for any questions. I don't know if there's been any that have come through. And again, maybe Toby, you can see those already.
Yeah, so we are still waiting for the first question. The first one is always the hardest. So please feel free. You can either write your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. I see someone just started typing, so we just need a little bit of patience, Jason.
No problem. And, as far as getting started, you can go, out just to either of the app stores, whether it be for iOS or for Google or for Android, and grab the app, and then, get in contact with me. I'll get your phone number at that point.
Great. So we have our first question. How about integrations? Does this integrate with Procore?
Great
Jason,
questions.
something. Yeah,
Yes.
that's an important one.
Yeah, so it definitely comes up a lot here, and we do have one already that has integration going back from a task standpoint, and we have open API, so we're able to make almost any integration happen. We're also going to be working with Procore more closely as we're headed down to Houston in October for one of their big trade show events, and they accepted us as one of the kind of startup type companies that they allow, go to that and have a table and all of that. So yeah, we know Procore is everywhere. We'd love to be the front end and really get everything back to Procore that might be possible out there. So it's not like out of the box ready to go, but it's doable.
Great. Thank you very much, Jason. Nothing to add from my side, except for maybe Autodesk is the same thing, right? When we were having first discussions at the CAM event, Autodesk was also mentioned quite a few times. So same thing with Autodesk. We're also like getting in touch with those guys, and hopefully from our side we're ready to build integrations.
Definitely.
There's another question coming up in real time, and we have a couple of more minutes. And in the meantime, maybe some more things to add. So, Jason, maybe why did Benetics actually start in Michigan, Detroit? What's the reason for that? Because
Yeah,
this is really a US entry, right?
sure. No, I mean, it really is something that is an up and coming city again. Like we have rebounded nice over the last 20 years. I've been born and raised in Michigan, live in Ann Arbor, love Detroit. But we talk about true grit here, and this is something I think that just picking yourself up and making it happen is what we kind of pride ourselves in. But why not use a tool that kind of is doing the same thing? Grow with Detroit. And yeah, there's a lot of construction, and we are also kind of underserved in regards to some of the technology that's maybe out there worldwide and even just in the States. But also we are short on the labor force. So you got to get the most out of your teams that you possibly can. And you hear each level, whether it be, frontline ground level workers, foremen, like everybody wants better communication. Um, and this is a way to get there. So it just has a natural fit, I think, with Detroit and Michigan, and yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And maybe like I would say like a nasty question actually from our side, but I think pretty important for the participants in the webinar. Like before the CAM event, we were already like in touch, especially you were in touch with lots of construction companies. What are like the barriers? What makes decision makers, what makes it hard for them to try out Benetics, even though it's so easy to just try it out without having like setting up a big software integration project?
That's a good question. I wish I knew that answer, honestly. I mean, I think there's just fear, right, of anything new. And I think that you get caught up in your day to day, and everybody works in their business. They don't work on their business. And, it does kind of have to come from owners or at least somebody that's in a management role that says, hey, we really should try this. Because every time I talk to somebody on the front line, I talk to a journeyman electrician. They're like, yeah, that sounds great, but that's above my pay grade. Right. So it's like we might get in front of people that want to use it, but they feel like they might as well not even look at it because software traditionally gets pushed from the top down. And so I think that that's a little bit of a barrier when I'm networking and when I'm talking to people. It's like, yeah, great idea, but yeah, this has to go to somebody else. That would
And
be my
perhaps
first thing.
perhaps it does. We also like we were facing the same barriers in Europe. I mean, we always said we were looking for the MacGyvers on the construction site a little bit, the ones who are really interested in trying out something new and just getting like proof or see that it doesn't work, but actually you figure out within maximum 2 weeks if Benetics is adding value to your construction site and really making your processes and your life on the construction site easier. Jason, we have another question.
Yep.
This one to you again. Like, how many people can be shared on a job site? That's the first part of the question. And the second one, for general contractors, is it useful for the project manager to be the only one using it?
Hmm. Okay,
So first
fair.
question, how many people can be shared? I think this is something we can answer pretty fast.
Yeah, unlimited, right? So we've got a couple of companies over 200 now, and that's something that isn't a problem. It's not going to hit a limit on storage or a limit on your cloud computing space or anything like that. I get that question occasionally. So yeah, you can share it as many as you need. And then the second question was
For
what
general
again?
contractors,
General.
is it useful? Yeah, is it useful for the
Yeah,
project manager to be the only one using it?
right. So it depends. It depends really. No, it shouldn't be, but it depends on what the process currently is. So if it's something where you have a crew or you have subcontractors that are out there and they aren't going to put anything into the app themselves, and the only person that's going to communicate is the foreman or a super, then yeah, if that's what your current process is. But let's talk about processes. Like I've said at our launch, I think we need to have a little bit of a culture shift in responsibility or in empowering the front lines to do this type of a thing because they have the information. It shouldn't have to be this. It goes from one person to another back to a general contractor. Like let's let the flow of information be a little more open. So It depends. It depends on what that contract looks like as well. Like for the GCs, um, but no, it doesn't have to be. I have just seen the most acceptance with foremen so far because they're already doing this in some capacity. They're trying to take pictures or they're handwriting things down. It feels it feels to most people like that's the natural fit for this type of a tool, but it really starts to get more powerful if you go past that level.
And maybe just to close this topic, then I would like to share my screen as well, because you mentioned something which is really important for general contractors and also for project managers who work together with other trades, how easy it is to share actually like a task or a punch list item with externals actually. So people don't always have to be like on Benetics. This is the task you created, Jason, right, for me.
Yep.
So Jason said like you can export that like as a PDF or and send it via email. Now what we just introduced like 2 weeks ago, you see like you can share a link and you can make this link public, which I'm just doing here. So now I have this link and I can share it through a messenger or whatever. And the people who does not even have Benetics as a non-Benetics user, if he receives this link, he can open this task on his smartphone or on the computer, and he sees the exact task how Jason or a Benetics user would see it. So he could even enter it on the plan and see like here, okay, where exactly should I do this? And I think this is something which is super useful for subcontractors, like if you're a general contractor, or if you work with external trades together, so that they are able actually to receive immediately what do they have to do with all the information they need to get the job done.
Thank you. That's very helpful for sure.
So yeah, we just introduced that like 2 weeks ago, and this is something also like I would like to ensure everyone we are having like a high pace in development. Jason mentioned a couple of times what a great software engineering team we have. Like two of our founders are from Google. They've both been with Google for more than 15 years and have decided to really start something new. And yeah, we have a couple of folks here with lots of background from big tech companies. So there's much more to come. Jason, final words from your side. No more questions for now, but 1 minute to go.
Yeah, hit me up if you do have other questions. And again, to those of you that have been working with the software a bit, let's stay in contact and really take this thing to the next level. Like I feel like it's really close, but just like it was in Switzerland, it takes some champions and it takes some people to say, hey, this really worked for us, and let's spread the word about it too. So. Yeah, I really appreciate everyone's time. Big thanks to Tobias for making it on here as well. And have a great rest of the holiday week. I know everybody probably gets really busy starting tomorrow, and it's been really hot out here. So hopefully you're headed to a lake somewhere or doing something you want to do with friends and family. So have a good 4th of July, everyone, and talk to me soon.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.